Okay, let's jump right into this explainer by imagining something I think we can all relate to. I want you to picture your tangled human emotions, your deepest anxieties, and your psychological pain as this massive, chaotic pile of 40 shirts and pants just dumped right in the middle of your bed. It feels completely overwhelming and messy, doesn't it? Well, today, we're going to unfold all of that. We're going to systematically sort through it and organize it so we can finally understand the inner workings of our own minds. We're unpacking some absolutely incredible insights today, all about the anatomy of human pain and how our connections actually hold the ultimate cure.
So, to make sense of this giant pile of abstract thoughts, we're going to neatly fold and organize them into 6 clear buckets: the unique human pain, the burden of memory and imagination, connecting with the self, connecting with others, spiritual and religious connection, and finally, the goals of human communication. We're moving straight from the very root of our pain right to the ultimate solution.
All right, Section 1, the unique human pain. Understanding our unique burden. Let's look at exactly why human psychological pain is entirely unique in the animal kingdom. We so often think of pain as just this physical sensation, but there's a deeply personal dimension to human suffering that we really need to unpack. Think about this stark biological contrast for a second. A monkey, with its 35-gram brain, absolutely feels physical pain, just like we do. But our 1,400-gram human brain is fundamentally different, and it's all because of our massive memory capacity. Where an animal might record one basic mental picture, our brains are recording millions of moving, dynamic pictures. And we don't just store them away in a file cabinet, we add these profound personal dimensions to them. Things like love, emotional attachment, vivid colors, and even the sting of feeling disliked. Our minds take these memories, multiply them, and make them feel incredibly alive. And that creates a unique psychological pain that goes way, way beyond just physical survival.
Which brings us to Section 2, the burden of memory and imagination, how the past creates the future. Let's see how this incredible memory capacity actually becomes our absolute heaviest burden. Because, as magnificent as our memory is, it comes with a pretty massive side effect.
Because we have this huge memory bank, we are quite literally pattern recognition machines. And what that means is, our brains are constantly projecting into the future. We stitch these past memories together to imagine scenarios that have absolutely no physical reality yet. Now, sometimes that's pleasant, right? Like imagining eating a really nice bowl of rice pudding. But often, it's terrifying. We imagine a horrific car accident before we even open the car door. We worry endlessly about upsetting a family member tomorrow, or we agonize over regretting an action we haven't even taken yet. This ability to vividly see and feel a future that literally doesn't exist yet, that is exactly what generates our unique, exhausting, existential anxiety.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this. If our massive memory is what creates this constant, agonizing internal noise and fear of the future, what's the fix? How do we actually calm the storm raging inside our 1,400-gram brains?
Well, the solution, fundamentally, is communication, bringing us to Section 3. Connecting with the self, the most direct conversation, because this right here is where the healing actually begins.
This is the purest, most direct form of connection you are ever going to experience. Imagine you finish a task. Maybe you were trying to help a friend out, and that little inner voice says, you probably could have done that a bit better. You could have been more patient. Step 1 is just listening to that internal critique without running away from it. Your inner self is incredibly clear. Then, Step 2 is taking positive action based on that truth so you can improve next time. And when you finally align your actions with your inner truth, Step 3 happens. Your inner self actually rewards you with this profound, unshakable self-trust. You are essentially building an ironclad friendship with your own conscience.
Once we've built up that self-trust, we grab the next shirt in our pile. Section 4, connecting with others. Translating yourself into reality.
There is a really powerful point to be made right here. Any thought of harming others is just fundamentally unhealthy, and it goes completely against our core human purpose. Our true goal is to literally translate our inner goodness out into the real world. And we do this by serving, healing, and building up the people around us. Think of a mother pouring her life, her energy, and her time into her family. By acting truthfully and compassionately toward others, you are projecting the absolute best version of yourself into reality. You're actively making the world a safer, more harmonious place.
But of course, this deep social connection carries a really profound vulnerability. Have you ever felt like you literally lost a piece of yourself when you lost a loved one? Well, neurologically and psychologically speaking, you actually did.
Because our massive brains print the movements, the feelings, and the very essence of the people we love so deeply into our memory, they actually become a permanent part of our internal architecture. Losing them isn't just some external event, it is the literal loss of a part of your own mind. That is how deeply intertwined we become with the people we connect with.
And trying to navigate that kind of overwhelming loss and just the sheer confusion of life in general brings us to Section 5, Spiritual and Religious Connection, Finding Parallel Feelings and Comfort.
Impartially speaking, when you look at the broad scope of human history, science and physics are amazing, right? But they just can't explain our deeply personal psychological burdens. They can't tell you who to marry or how to handle intense, crushing grief. So humanity uses spiritual frameworks to find comfort in a really confusing universe. People seek connection with prophets, saints, or God to find what we can call a parallel feeling, that incredible comfort that a higher power understands their exact pain. The source actually beautifully references the concept of Jesus experiencing human suffering as a way to prove divine empathy. It's kind of like a single wheat seed transforming and giving of itself to produce many more seeds. It's just a profound way for humans to feel totally safe and perfectly understood. Okay, now that our chaotic pile of ideas is nearly all folded and neatly sorted, let's look at Section 6, the goals of human communication. Exactly why we connect.
This perfectly wraps up our whole closet organization project today. Let's look at exactly why we reach out. At the internal level, communicating honestly with ourselves builds unshakable self-trust. At the external level, connecting with others builds a constructive, healing society where we translate our positive energy right into reality. And at the spiritual level, it provides the ultimate safety net of feeling deeply understood. Every single level of connection provides a highly specific remedy to our existential human pain.
To boil it all down to its absolute core, we communicate because all living things, from the tiniest ants in a colony to the most complex humans, must connect to preserve life. We connect to avoid physical and psychological pain. We connect to prevent the loss of what we love, desperately seeking some kind of continuity in a very fragile world. And fundamentally, we connect to translate our true faith, our internal sense of harmony, into tangible, practical actions that heal the world around us. Because true belief isn't just an internal thought sitting in your head. It's proven through the actions you take to serve society.
So by taking that messy, overwhelming pile of human emotions and finally organizing them into these clear levels of connection, we can finally understand and take back control of our reality. We know why we hurt, and we know that communication is the absolute ultimate cure. So I want to leave you with this one provocative question to chew on. How will you use this newfound clarity to connect today? Who or what will you truly communicate with to ease your burden and heal a piece of your world?